Okay, it's time for Season 2, Episode 5 of Cockpit Reviews, where I review your home space sim cockpits. Today's video is brought to you by GameGlass. With GameGlass you can take control of your ship using a tablet or a phone. You can try it out using some of the free pre-made shots, or you can also make your own custom shots and share them with the community through the built-in marketplace. So gone are the days where you have no more rooms for all your key bindings. On top of that, GameGlass also supports Star Citizen, so follow the link in the video description and try GameGlass for free and use offer code DTEA to get 5% off any purchase. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this 5th episode of the 2nd season of Cockpit Reviews, where I review your home cockpits. If you want your cockpit reviewed, your home cockpit, then send it to me. Send it to downtoearthastronomy@gmail.com or get in touch with me on Discord. Send me some pictures, send me a short description of what equipment you have and how you build it, if it's DIY or just a little bit about your setup. And if you're lucky, it may get included in a future video. Okay, first cockpit is from Tech Driver from Ontario, Canada, and this is a very DIY. There's actually 2 cockpits in this picture. One of them is kind of hidden, and well, maybe the other one's not really a cockpit per se. But anyway, let's see what we got here. First of all, it's a DIY cockpit, and we can begin to zoom in. We can see the edges here. First of all, I think what we notice is, of course, the black light luminescent paint. That's a really cool effect. I like that effect. It gives it, I mean, I'm kind of getting some early Star Trek vibes out of this. We can see that he has a X56 there, and there's the throttle unit, and that is a 3D Pro. Yes, that is a 3D Pro. So that means he is running dual sticks with a throttle, so hostess S, if you will. Keyboard, mouse, and then of course his custom things is done up here. We're gonna get a closer look at that. So let's look at around the rest of the room. TV up here, of course, with the main screen. He said that he's currently learning Star Citizen, so that's why he has all this like cheat sheet on the wall, so he can remind himself of the key bindings. Something that I don't know if you guys have ever tried to swap between different joysticks where the button layout is suddenly different. Relearning is it takes a while. Let's just put it like that. We also see here he has put up the dots here, which could probably match these this button box that he's built here. So you can kind of see that's VTOL and stuff like that. We can see that. I also spotted there's some monitors up here facing the other way, so I'm guessing on the other side of this wall he has a more traditional workstation where you can sit and work, and this is then a more dedicated play area. Okay, we get a closer look. We can see all the cabling is routed through here. All of this down here, I believe, is just decorative. Samsung tablet that he's either it was blue or he's painted it blue, I'm not sure, to kind of match the frame it sits in. And then of course he's running GameGlass. For setups like this, I think running something like GameGlass is a really, really nice option. And then he says he uses an old phone here. Yeah, so this being just computer stats, so you can see how well your PC is running, stuff like that. Another decorative panel. I love that. We don't see that too often when I do these reviews, is the attention to all the decorative parts. A lot of it is pure function, where people just, I want this display and I want to have access to these informations. It's not often we see people begin to make these decorative things, and again, I'm getting some Star Trek inspiration from this, I think. Maybe it's from something specific, I don't know. He wrote in his email that he's mainly just built out of 2x4s that he got from a lumberyard, so it's very DIY, screwed together and then painted. And we can see that second cockpit back here, which is a racing setup. But yeah, very cool DIY home cockpit. I love the black light effect, as I said. I think that's a really nice addition, very unique, not something that we've seen before. But yeah, thanks a lot for sending that in. Let's move on to the next one. Now for the next one here, I don't really have a commander name. He says in his email that he is switching, or he has switched from from PlayStation over to PC. And there's been a bit of a learning curve. Built his first PC specifically for when he was moving over. We can also see some PS4 games up here. So it's nice to see people reliving that. That we'll also see here 5.5 hours. So yeah, he's definitely very recently moved over to PC, even though we know that the Steam chart's not always 100% accurate. Anyway, what we have here is, oops, there we go. What we have here is a X52 Pro very good joystick. I actually prefer this over the X56. And this was also the first joystick I had. Really, really good. Good stick, I think. Is that 65% keyboard? No function keys, no numpads, just very minimalistic there. Logitech mouse. And then of course we have the main PC back here and a laptop over here. Again, this is a setup that I see very often, especially when people are running single monitor setups, that they put a laptop on the side. People often do it for two reasons. Either, again, to get an extra screen if they have a laptop lying around. It's often a very cheap way to get an extra screen. But also, I don't think that's the case here, since he lists his spec and it looks like some very capable hardware he has in this PC. But other times when people have lower spec PCs, they will put a laptop on the side so that it doesn't have to draw resources for stuff like Discord. If you're playing YouTube videos on the side, if you want to watch a Netflix, if you have like all that other stuff, resources away from the game PC over on the laptop. See that very often. And I think in this case, it's mostly just to get an extra screen, because the PC is more than capable of handling Elite and then some. Okay, we get a closer look at the computer here. He's watching the recent exobiology scanning guide. Very nice, and it looks like, yeah, that's when I'm talking about exploration and looking at the commander's toolbox and stuff like that. 1 minute 13 seconds into the video. If you're interested in learning some exobiology, you can go and you can do that. And some good suggested videos over here. Very nice. Okay, and now we get a shot of the main PC here. I actually got some spec for you guys. It's running an AMD Radeon X 6700 XT with an AMD Ryzen 5800X. So again, capable PC, should be more than capable of running something like Elite Dangerous Odyssey. Another thing I noticed is those cards there on the wall. It's like, what are they doing there? Why do you, if you're watching this, why do you have 4 aces on your wall? The other like paintings I get, but 4 playing cards? I guess there's a story behind that. Anyway, thanks a lot for sending that in. Again, love seeing also when people are moving over and they're beginning to build out their home cockpit. As I said, this is almost identical to what my home cockpit looked like when I started playing Elite Dangerous many years ago, and then, well, it's kind of escalated a bit from there. But awesome to see. Welcome to the PC side of Elite, and again, thanks for sending it in. Okay, this next one here is actually particularly interesting for me because of the frame that he's using. Because what he's using here is a frame from a company called TrackRacer, not a sponsor. But the reason why this is specifically interesting for me is because I've been considering doing something very similar to this. I've been sitting doing these cockpit reviews, and I've seen a lot of people who have these setups, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get me some of that. So stay tuned to the channel if you want to follow that journey as well, as I'm completely rebuilding my entire setup from the ground up. But what we have here is a TrackRacer, I'm gonna say, is that the 120, I think? Yeah, maybe it's the 180, I'm not sure. But it is a TrackRacer setup. He has a Thrustmaster Warthog. I always get that wrong, and you always complain in the comment section. Now I got both, so at least some of you will be happy. That's mounted here to the frame. We have the racing seat here. There's some pedals. It looks like there are pedals down there indeed. And you can see here he has that. This thing here is for mounting a wheel, and I believe what this does is these big thingies give you like force feedback, so you can kind of feel the forces when you're driving, and maybe it vibrates the steering wheel as well. Steam Deck mounted for buttons and things. Phone holder there on the side. And then we have this tray, which, as you can see out here, these two there mounts on a swivel, and that holds up this entire plate here, so that will like swing out. We'll see that in a second. The only problem I have with these trays is, first of all, there's no room for wrist rest. They're just not deep enough that you can have a proper wrist rest on it. And secondly, the amount of space. I mean, you're gonna run some high sensitivity on that mouse in order to have enough space, unless you want to sit and go like, I need a little bit more space. And that's also why when I'm gonna be building mine, I'm gonna do something slightly different with the keyboard and mouse to give me more desk space. Also because I have some stuff I need on my desk. For instance, I have a massive sound control board over here that I use to control all my sound, so I can turn things up and down and stuff like that. Triple monitor setup, actually quadruple monitor setup, where you have 1, 2, 3 monitors in a panoramic view there. Very nice and thin bezels. It almost looks like that goes over the bezel of one monitor. Is that just me, or does that... Oh, okay, he of course, yeah, okay. He probably is hiding, it just looks like the bezel there. He's probably hiding the bezel of the monitor behind the other monitor, so you only get one thickness. That's actually pretty clever. Or maybe the other ones just have really, really thin bezels. I don't know. Mic up there, and then a 4th screen up here on the top for running Discord, of course. I won't be doing that, so I have to mount a camera. Oh, just a glimpse of the PC there in the back. Very pretty. Okay, okay, let's move on and let's see what else we got here. We got a wide view. We got some lights here. Maybe he's streaming as well. Lots of figurines. I love that arcade machine, by the way. I mean, how awesome is that? I love this room. Someone's really into retro gaming. Look at that, all the arcade machines here. Oh my god. Oh, that's cool. Okay, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked here. We get a pilot's eye view here of the cockpit. It looks like he has some spare foot pedals sitting there, because there is some mounted here. We can just see the bottom of it. There's also some out there. So it looks like he may have swapped out, or maybe he's upgrading. He did say in his email, if I recall correctly, that he does have Verbal Constellation Alpha Prime and the Mongoose CM3 coming in, so he's swapping all this out for verbal equipment, doing a nice upgrade there. Dedicated driving shoes? Question mark? I don't know. And here we see the same cockpit in its racing setup. Very, very important cup holder. We have, oh, there's more flight gear back here, look at that. Looks like he's been doing a number of upgrades through the years. We have the pedals, now the racing wheel is in place. Here we can see how this thing slides out, and he's taking the joystick off to make room for that to go off. So basically you can just take the joystick, the stick part of it, so the base is still there, still screwed in. Take that off, put it aside, swing the keyboard away, click the steering wheel, and you're good to go. Ready to go and do some racing. Steering wheels on display here, and what has he been winning? First individual iRacing Road Series victory. Okay. Motorsport simulation. So he doesn't seem like he's very much into his sim racing. And has been winning something. I'm not really sure what it is. I'm not that much into sim racing myself, so sorry for my lack of knowledge in that. But I also saw there was a picture of the co-pilots. Very nice. Okay, so with the two co-pilots on watch, I think I'm gonna call it for today. Thanks a lot for everybody who sent in your cockpits. And again, if you want a chance to have your own home cockpit featured in a future episode, send it to me, downtoearthastronomy@gmail.com, or get a hold of me on Discord. And there should be links for everything in the description. But that's it for this time. Thanks a lot for watching, and also next time, I'll see you guys in space.